The captain's out in the middle. Carla Rowe is there from Dublin, of course, with Nessa Bird, the number 8 for Cavan, and the referee Gus Chapman for this 2023 TG4 Senior Championship match in Breffni Park. And it is sunny Breffni. What a setting it is. The sun has come out in the last hour or so, and it is going to be very warm out there. And as you see, Cavan are wearing white today. You always expect the Breffni Blues to be wearing Breffni blue, but they're wearing Breffni white today. A little bit of a clash. One of the coaches or selectors was telling me last year when they played with a bit more navy as well in the Dublin jersey than before, so they said we'll go with the white. So the Cavan home team are wearing white, and they'll be hoping it will bringing them a little bit of luck, and they are looking to cause a huge upset today and put Dublin out of the senior championship. That would be sensational. Dublin lost last week to Kerry, so they must win today, and they're expected to do so, but you never know. So we will see what Cavan can do. Home advantage and a late change as well for Cavan. Let's have a look in fact at the Cavan team, and then I'll give you the change as the toss is being made there. So I think Carla won it there, didn't she? And I don't think it matters at all. The sun is way over to the right, but there's no real wind to talk of, so I don't think it'll matter too much, apart from, as I say, that playing into the sun, but players well used to that. Cavan have one change from that 15. Number 2, Grania Faulkner, was injured during the week, and she will not start. So number 19 comes in, and that's Cavan Madden from Gowna, same club as the goalkeeper Roisin O'Reilly. And is there any other Gowna? I think there was one. Yeah, Emma Halton is from that club as well. So the captain, Ness, is at midfield with Ali Cahill from Killygarry. And you have a lot of Ashlings in the forwards. Aisling Walls, Aisling Sheridan and Aisling Gilsonin. So let's go on and look at the Dublin team then. They have 3 changes from that 15 actually. And number 6, Aoife Kane, is not starting, replaced by 24, Lauren McGee. Although of course it doesn't mean Lauren will play necessarily right there in centre half back. And where else have we got? Orla Nolan, number 7, doesn't start. I know they had a few knocks from last week in that very physical game against Kerry last week, so that's why they seem to have made a lot of changes, and a few more before the start as well. So maybe it's a little bit of the walking wounded, but I'm sure they've plenty of good, strong, fit players there. And Ailish O'Dowd comes in, number 23. And also Kate Sullivan, number 15, does not start. Of course, she scored 2 fantastic goals for them in the Leinster final against Meath, but she does not start today. Instead, number 20, Orla Martin, comes into that team, and it'll be interesting to see what way they shape up. Daniel Lawless at number 11 there, for example. She's more known, I think, as a sort of defensive player, so we'll see where she lines out. And Ailish O'Dowd, Lauren McGee did such great man-marking jobs in the Leinster final on Emma Duggan and Vicky Wall, so we'll watch to see where they go as well. But much change is the message from last year for both of these teams. They met last year at Clanwura, which was Carla Rowe's home club, and from that, Cavan, as far as I can make out, of only 5 of the 15 that started that day, and Dublin have only 4 starters from that game last year, although that was before I heard about the changes. So Lauren McGee, or Ailish O'Dowd wasn't there last year, I don't think Orla Martin. So 4 or 5 from Dublin and only 5 from Cavan, so much change over the last year, and it tells its own story. Not necessarily as much for Cavan, although they are investing a lot in youth and a lot of young players coming through, but more so for Dublin. A lot of their older players have gone, and a lot of youth has come in, and they've done terrifically well this year. And they really, of course, put it up last week to Kerry at home and could easily have come away with a victory there, but of course Carla Rowe's penalty was saved and it just didn't go for them in the end. But they are very confident. Mick Bohan after the match was saying that they're looking forward to playing Kerry down the line, but of course they have Cavan before that today, and that is a game that they simply must win. So we're coming up to the anthems at the start, and you can contact me if you want directly by just send me a message on my Twitter handle, which is @JeromeQuinn, or on Instagram @JeromeQuinn1. And this, by the way, is Cavan's first game since May the 30th, when they played on Ulster final day, Ulster men's final day. It wasn't their final, but it was Armagh beating Cavan that day by 8 goals, 14-2-7. And it's actually, I was working out earlier, Cavan haven't won a game since February. which seems an awful long time ago. But they had a good start to the league, but it all ran off onto the rocks. After that, they beat Roscommon on the 26th of February. One more game in this group, and that is Kerry against Cavan, and that'll be a tough one next week, of course. So Kerry already with the points, and now we are going to pause.
May Patsy's soul rest in peace. Today our national anthem will be sung by Niamh McCaffrey from the Curlifane Club. And Niamh is also a member of our under-16 county ladies team who will be playing either Galway or Mayo on the 5th of July. Please be upstanding for our national anthem.
Sheila Vila Fall, Atog Wigalegeren, Windar Sla, Hartin Orani Huin, Fui Boj Vester, Shan Shir, Shin Sher Fasta, Niog Fwyn Chiron off Fwyn Troll Hanog Daim Tabarn Abwell Legan Ergwil Gon Bosh No Sil Legon Isgrif We love of Nobby Lair Shaligon Igaranavi.
Thank you, Cavan. Thank you. So we are ready now for the starts. Cavan in the white, and they will be playing, I think, from right to left against Dublin in this 2023 TG4 Senior Football Championship game. One game already in the group, one more to go. Dublin lost the first game, so they are in the position where they absolutely have to win today, and they are, as I say, expected to, but you never know. Cavan will put it right up to them today. They will give it everything with home advantage and home support. There's quite a few young girls here for playing at half-time and also for supporting the county team. Dublin actually will be playing from right to left. I see Abby Shields going over to the right as you're watching. So they will be playing from right to left. And I also see in the middle of the field that Ada Dowd, number 23, is there along with Jennifer Dunn. So that's a tactical switch, and it means that Niamh Heatherton has maybe gone into the forwards. Yeah, she's going to centre half forward. Looking around the rest of the players, I see the number 19 for Cavan, Caoimhe Madden from Guyana, who is their only change, has actually gone to right half back, not into the right corner, so that's not a straight swap. I'll pick up more of those as we go, but Gus is about to get us underway. Here we go then. Cavan against Dublin, must win for Dublin. Can Cavan put it up to them? It's Dublin with the ball early doors, and O'Dowd gives to Dunn and runs off in support and might get it back. Does not get it back. In fact, it goes to Heatherton. Well blocked down, actually. Thought that was going to be a certain Dublin score right at the start, and they were going to put a marker down there. They ran through rather easily. In fact, Dunn had two options, but they didn't get the score. Good block in the end, and Cavan have it back. Important for them to stay in this game early on. There's a ball through the middle. I'm not sure that's the ball that was intended, but it got there anyway, and now it is. Sheridan, Aisling Sheridan, who had to stand on the sidelines and watch this corresponding game last year at Clanwurra. She wasn't able to play. She was going to Australia, and they, of course, are delighted to have her back, and she's made an impact there in winning that free. And there's a short, quick give and go, and it's Aisling Gilson and comes inside there and gets a tough challenge from Danielle Lawless, and the referee says that's a free in. I did say Danielle Lawless would not be playing centre half forward. She's a more defensive player, and she has come in there with a tough challenge, which Gus Chapman has given as a free in, and that should be the first score to Cavan. Playing into the end with the scoreboards. I'm looking at it now, reading 1 minute 22 seconds. Nothing on it just yet, but I would bet quite safely that Aisling Gilson will get first blood to the girls in white. Abby Shields quick with the kick out and takes it sharply and gets it back, and it was very accurately played, and now she drills the ball out to Danielle Lawless. Goalkeeping, of course, such an important part these days of getting the plays underway and getting possession, and they're very adept with the kick passing, and that was 2 excellent passes from her to make sure that her team got out, and now they are out. Sinead Wild, and there's a free given over here, maybe it's a hot ball or something, but there's a Cavan player down, so Gus Chapman has asked for treatment and has held play up. So if you've just joined us, I did realise before the game that Cavan haven't won a game since February. There's Mick Bohan, the Dublin manager. He hasn't won a game in the last 2 weeks. He lost, of course, to Kerry last week, but it was a cracking game. Could have gone either way. Before that, Dublin won the Leinster Championship with 3 straight wins. And they beat Cavan in this corresponding game very comprehensively last year. So they are the strong favourites today, but they're a point down at the minute, Dublin. And although a Cavan player was down, it's a Cavan ball, or a Dublin ball. So it wasn't a foul, just a coming together, and it's Jennifer Dunn who puts it in there, but it's going straight to the Cavan number 4, Niamh Donlan. Or rather, that's the Dublin number 4. It's Christina Charters, of course, the number 4 from Crosserlock. Sorry, I looked down and saw the wrong 4. I'm going to claim that the white jerseys are tricking me a little bit. It's Dublin wearing blue here in Breffni. So Cavan building slowly, trying to get out from the 45. Nice patient play by them. Shauna Lynch from Crosserlock, number 3, and she bursts out and just slips it to Emma Halton. This is good from Cavan. This is about a dozen passes, but then the challenges come in and the referee says that's not a foul. So Lauren McGee turns away with the ball rather sharpishly. Now, way off camera, I can see Niamh Heatherton calling for it. She's made a good run, and now she gets it as well. And at the second attempt, gives it into Hannah Tyrrell, and she is very much their main shooter, and she very much puts it over the bar. When Dublin go forward, they do look much stronger, and they do look capable of getting a score every time. But that's the first time they've got it. It's taken 4 minutes. Hannah Tyrrell got 5 points last week against Kerry, and that's her first today. From the kick out, brilliantly taken by Lawless, the captain of St Sylvester's when they went on their All-Ireland winning journey a couple of years ago. And she's atoned for her foul earlier on that led to the Cavan point. As the sun disappears from Breffni, Carla Rowe puts it over, and it's 2 points to 1, and Dublin have turned it round in a minute. Kick out from Roisin O'Reilly, but it's knocked down by O'Dowd, and referee says that's okay. One of those collisions between the players, but referee says it's okay, and there's space here for Aisling Gilson, and for once Dublin caught a little bit here. They are tracking back, and it's Gilson, and as she crashes straight in to the Dublin defender, and you know that's going to be a free out. Five minutes gone then. 2 points to 1. Cavan's manager Jerry Munn won't be too disappointed, keeping the game early on. Dublin moving it swiftly and accurately by hand and by foot, and just as I say that, of course, that ball goes astray. have to emphasise again, the sun is over to the right, so maybe that ball, when it came in, the Dublin forwards didn't quite read it or see it, and all of a sudden it's Cavan turning it round and trying to break. The Sheridan sisters up the middle, Aisling and Geraldine from Mullahoran. Instead of going up the middle, though, they switch it out to the wings. It's always hard to get a score against Dublin. They're always set up so well. But this is Geraldine Sheridan, and she tries to come inside and actually is fouled and does get her free in. Tricky angle here for a score, but Aisling Gilsonan got the last one, and she will fancy getting this one as well to level the scores. Just to repeat, if you feel like messaging me for any particular reason, you can do so on Twitter at Jerome Quinn directly, or on Instagram at Jerome Quinn 1. Trickier one then for Gilsonan, but no problem to her. 2 points each. 7 minutes gone. Jerry Moan will take that all day long. Abby Shields drills that one beautifully. She angled it, low trajectory, and it's taken out about 10 Cavan players, and it's picked up by the number 20 Orla Martin, and now they go off in search of a goal. And Jennifer Dunn, well, she takes her point in the end, but that threat always seems to be there. She's so impressive going through the middle and is so direct. And indeed, I remember her here a couple of years ago, maybe it was during COVID, and she drilled the ball into the net at the far end to the end. She's shooting into now one of those pile drivers against Tyrone, actually, and I'm sure, well, I think it was post Jerry Moan, it was after his era. So she has a record of scoring here at Breffni, but on that occasion she settled for her point. But Cavan would be concerned about the ease with which the Dublin players were able to get through there and transfer the ball straight from the goalkeeper right up the field. But it was a great kick out from Abby Shields that started it. Zara Fay for Cavan from Drumlane gives it to Nessa Bird, the captain. She tries to make a bit of progress, but she comes up against Jennifer Dunn, and then Ada Dowd, and a little bit of a tug there, and she gets a free. But you see there how difficult it is to get through when Dublin put the press on. That's a good ball to Gilsonan, though, and she took it on the run. That was a good, intelligent run, and she got away from Faye O'Connell Bell. And here now is Aisling Sheridan, and that's going to be a free in. And the Dublin players continue to challenge her just after the whistle, but it's definitely a free in. They didn't hear the whistle. And it's a chance now for Cavan to level. Just watching it again here. Strong play again, but the pattern is definitely set. Cavan running, and it was really well taken. It was a good, intelligent run. Instead of waiting for the ball, she made a run across the pitch and took it on the run. Very hard to defend against. And they got a free out of it, and the pattern is set that they are now likely to score from 3 frees in a row, from 3 fouls in a row. So Dublin defenders giving away frees early on in the first 10 minutes, but Aisling Gilson trying to punish them. Is that inside the post? Oh, she's put it just to the right, and she put it very high. Maybe should have went a little bit lower, but managed to scuff it off the side of the boot, and that's a bit of a let off for Dublin. Abby Shields with her kickouts again. I mentioned their pinpoint accuracy, and that's the same again, and they really make it almost impossible for the press from Cavan because they just can't get close. And there's another ball drilled. She's such an array of kicking styles as well, Abby Shields. You've seen that a couple of times already off the outside of the boot, and the trajectory goes lower or higher, but it always seems to be very accurate. That's well read by Faye for Cavan, and she goes off in support, and she might get it again, but actually that's number 10 Aisling Walls. Dublin turn that over. Referee says play on. McGee has it and gives it out to Sinead Wilds, the number 14, but not playing in full forward. Niamh Heatherton is playing in full forward, and she's calling for it in there, and here it comes from Jennifer Dunn. Tries to find her, and it did find her, but she just couldn't collect it. Sun may have been in her eyes because it's over to the right hand side. Looking at it again here, you'll see the turnover on this one here by Dublin. They worked so hard and they robbed her there and got it away, and that's what's making it so hard for Cavan. And the referee has given a free there. There must have been something out the field, and Dublin putting a press on, but it was illegal, whatever they did. So a free for Cavan, and away they go, and they do give the ball quickly. That's good, intelligent play. And it's Gilson dropping inside. It's good play by her, actually, and she gets challenged just as she passes it. Referee says play on. Cavan haven't scored from play yet. Sheridan had a little bit of a look. Wants to get on that right foot. Now fancies it. Puts it very, very high. I think it's right now. It's actually not even going to reach. And Abby Shields takes that very easily. She's directing the traffic now. Kick looking for Carla Rowe. Faye kept her company and the ball ran loose though. This is Walls again. Puts it into Sheridan. And referee says that's a free in. That's yet another free for Cavan in there. But this one a fair distance out for Gilsonan, who's taking her time coming over. Maybe going a little bit slower after missing the last one, but this is the trickiest one that she has had to face so far in the 12 minutes. I'd imagine she'll be happy if somebody goes short, but doesn't take the offer from Geraldine Smith. And fancies it, actually. She's looking at it. Camera here is right behind this one. So it's certainly a tone for the last one if she could manage it. Puts a good effort on it, but it goes to the left and goes wide. 3 points to 2. Shields has got 100% successful kickouts so far, and look how quickly Dublin transfer the ball. Orla Martin now reminds me of Kiva O'Connor in that kind of position, the way she plays it. That's good defending though by Rebecca O'Reilly. Got out in front of her player there to win the ball, but Dublin still managed to get it, and they get a free in. You get the feeling it's only a matter of time that before Dublin get a little bit more on the scoreboard than Cavan. They do look a bit stronger, but Cavan doing very well so far to keep it going, and they do have a threat going forward, but they're not allowed to get anywhere near goal. Anytime they get up, they seem to be fouled. And the frees given away from a certain distance. They've got 2 out of 4 frees. So they've 2 points, but no scores from play yet. Hannah Terrell now with a chance for Dublin at the other end to make it double scores. Perfect angle for Hannah. She scored 1 already. Approaching the D, and she looks to have got that one as well, and she has. Now let's look at the press here from this kick out, and you'll see how hard Dublin work. You've seen Niamh Heatherton there and Carla Rowe, and they're pointing and jumping, but good accurate goal kicking as well. So Cavan managed to get possession. Dublin pressing and Cavan going through the middle, and they do really well there actually to beat the press. Still got a lot of work to do, of course, but at least they have got up to halfway. And that ball looking for Sheridan, if she can get there, and she does, and she gets away from Grania Fitzsimmons as well, and she's got free actually. And she's still going. Challenge comes in from O'Dowd, and referee says that's a foul. And there you have, what's that, 14 minutes gone, and there's certainly a pattern of 5-6 frees given away around this sort of distance out, and a 5th free for Aisling Gilson. And it's a case, I think, of thou shalt not pass from the Dublin defence. Certainly not being allowed to get near goal. But I imagine the referee will be ticking for these challenges as well, so they could mount up. Gilson now with a much easier one, but it hits a crossbar and doesn't end up in the net or over the bar, and Dublin managed to get it away, but that will go down as a missed opportunity, although it does seem to have lifted Dublin or Cavan a little bit. The support in the crowd here has got a little bit enthused by that, and Sheridan managed to get the ball back rapidly as well and get a free for her team. And Gilson, and I'm sure it did not go for goal. Nearly got one though, and it could have rebounded and ended up in the net, but surely she should be taking a point from there, but maybe just didn't quite catch it. Gets it back from Smith. Geraldine Smith from Killygarry comes out now to Madden. And it's the captain Bird trying to get through, but faced up by 2-3 Dublin players, and Shirley has overcarried and has. And Cavan will be a little bit disappointed, and I'm sure Aisling Gilsonan will be as well, from the last 3 frees, particularly that last one. Not to get a score from the last 3. Still only 2 points in it though. Now, Shields yet to make a mistake, and watch that one hit her crossbar and was quick to react to that as well. The fullback for Dublin is Gráinne Fitzsimmons from Coola. That's a good ball up to Annabelle Timothy from the St. Finian's club in Swords. Strong play there by Sinead Wilde from Coola to fend off her marker, and now she gives it into Carla Rowe, and Carla loves to step inside, but she's a lot of company. Can't get the goal, but takes the point. Referee actually has pointed for a free, so it looks like overcarrying. So he's penalised both teams for overcarrying in the last few minutes. We've gone over the first quarter then, and it's Dublin 4 points, Cavan 2 points, and Roisin O'Reilly has the free for Cavan, looking for some movement. Gives it to Aisling Gilsonan, the free taker, who's all the way back there in defence. She pops a nice ball in to Aisling Walls. Cavan moving in along the line, almost rugby style, trying to get through the line. Carla Rowe directing her teammates to form a wall there and try and stop them coming through, but Cavan have done well to break through this line on quite a few occasions. They've been hounded down, but they are persevering. Ciara Brady is their number 6 available. Oh, and there's a spill, and Dublin will pounce. And it's Niamh Donlan from the Oliver Plunkett's club playing cornerback, but inside the 45 now, and plays a nice ball across, and that's going to go all the way through, and it's Tyrrell, and she gives it inside, and Shirley Eilish O'Dowd, the girl from Leitrim, finishes off an excellent move, and it was a robbery around the middle of the field by the cornerback Niamh Donlan that started it, and Dublin made Cavan. They punished them there with that score, and that's the first goal of the game. They made Cavan pay for one little slip around the middle of the field. It goes to 1-5 to 2, and all of a sudden now there is real daylight between the teams. And I say 1-5, well, I'll come back to the scoreboard in a minute, because Cavan have the ball now, and it is Aisling Sheridan being fouled by Lauren McGee. Referee says play on, and now he will bring it back. And yet again, Dublin fouling, and Lauren McGee says I didn't do anything, and Gus says you did. So the scoreboard in the ground said 1-5, but they have now changed that to 1-4. So we had it right on our scoreboard. It is 1-4 to 2, so it's 7 points to 2, 5 in it. This time Gilsonan will go short to try and get it back. Tough challenge coming in again from that Dublin defender, and Cavan finding it very hard to get through. And that is blasted to the right. Such pressure being applied from the Dublin defence. Legally on that occasion, so no freeze. A bit similar to Donegal last week, I have to say. Serious press. And that's won by Sinead Wilde over Nasa Bird to Heatherton. She's got players ahead of her. She's got Annabelle Timothy now on the ball. She isn't able to get through. She's held up really well, so has to go back out to Jennifer Dunn. Orla Martin is number 20. 23 is Eilish O'Dowd, who got the goal, and now Jennifer Dunn will just take her point. Nice and easy, and now it is 1-5 to 2 points. 6 in it. Roisin O'Reilly from Guyana with a kick out as we hit the 20-minute mark. Looked pretty good for Cavan up until a couple of minutes ago, but now Dublin, as expected, have made their superiority pay and tell on the scoreboard. Good crossfield ball from Wilde to Dunn, and lots of room. She might take her second point in a minute. Lots of room for her, but she's put that to the right and wide. Now look at this press. All of the players inside the 45, bar 7 players up the other end. That's how high the Dublin press is. So do Cavan go high and try and beat it, or do they go short? Well, they go high on this occasion, but look where it goes, straight to Danielle Lawless. She's caught a few in that particular area. Referee says play on as O'Dowd takes it. Puts it in looking for Tyrrell. Finds Tyrrell as well. She made a nice diagonal run cross field. And surely it goes over, and it does, from Heatherton. And Dublin starting to move rather ominously. The threat was there early on, but not really the scores. Now the scores are coming. 9 minutes to half time. And in the searing heat here in Breffni, Dublin starting to pull away from Cavan. O'Dowd makes herself available. Off the shoulder, the run is from Lauren McGee. This is Lawless. Spills the ball though, and it's Cavan's chance to rob it back, and indeed they do. Two Cavan players down though. Did say there's searing heat, and they're playing against a very strong, fit and fast Dublin team. It's been a tough first half for Cavan. They might appreciate getting in at halftime, not that far behind, and the sun may be behind them in the second half, but there's still a long way to halftime. 8 minutes to go to the break. Sleeves rolled up for Shauna Lynch. Give and go to her goalkeeper, Roisin O'Reilly. From Guyna to Crusherlock. Past the parcel at the back, and then a little run from Faye. Faye again. To Aisling Walls. And they're making Dublin move across the pitch, and they are moving across the pitch, trying to close it all down, but Ali Cahill has it now. Is forced to go back and does so. Good working back by the Dublin forwards to force Cavan back. All of the Dublin players behind the ball at the minute. Very organised setup, and they force Dublin, or Cavan rather, to find another way through. And they might find another way through, because Rebecca O'Reilly, number 7, is doing well, but now she's lost the ball. Trying to get it back, but Dublin have it, and Hannah Tyrrell all the way back there in defence, doing her bit for the cause. Dublin will come again with Dunn, with that familiar run. Off she goes. She's still going. Now looks for a little bit of support. Gives it to Carla Rowe. Challenges come in illegally, and that will be a free in. It was all about the turnover once again for Dublin, and then they attack so well. They cut through Cavan, and they are profiting more and more from that. You just get the feeling that Cavan, although they started well, are wilting a little bit in the heat. Carla Rowe to put 8 points between the teams with 6 minutes left in the first half. How do Cavan have the energy here to get outside the 45? They are having to work so hard. They do that though. Shauna Lynch has it, and she gets out of the 45. Now she looks for support, and she gets it. Look how tight the marking is, but Sheridan still manages to get away from her marker, Fitzsimmons. Trying to cut inside now. They're looking for their first score from play, and their first score at all from anywhere in a long time, and they get it. You just wonder if a few of those frees had went over earlier on, they'd still be in pretty good touch. But that is a long time since they've scored their first from play after 25 minutes, but that's largely testament to the Dublin organisation and how close they mark. Cavan had to work very hard for that, but here come Dublin again, and it's O'Dowd, the goal scorer. She gives the ball inside, and well, Timothy was involved, but the kick came in the end, and it's another score right at the other end. They've hit back within seconds. That's what Dublin do to you. So tough for Cavan. They work so hard to get a point, and it's cancelled out almost immediately. 1-8-3 goes to an 8-point game again. Referee not happy with that challenge. And Faye O'Connell Bell protests, but the referee says no, you pushed her. And you pushed her out of play, and that is a tick for her. Cavan free for Emma Halton to take. Gets it back from Cahill. Again, the Dublin press so hard. Look, 2-3 Dublin jerseys forcing Cavan back all of the time. And Dublin so fast and so athletic, so strong. And that will tell eventually. Eilish O'Dowd puts a hand in. Referee says that's a foul as well, and he's not happy with that. I did say these ticks might add up, and he's explaining what he didn't like about that. But from a Cavan point of view, they are almost smothered as they try to get up the field, and they've reverted more to giving the direct high ball, and it's fallen very nicely there for Sheridan under severe pressure. Didn't know where the ball was at one point, but still got it, and they're doing the right thing here and moving the ball really quickly, and that's a good crossfield diagonal ball, which is always hard to defend against. But Dublin already back in numbers and making it very hard, and there's a speculative kick, and it's landed very nicely for Gilson, and then she's in. But again, you have to credit Dublin's defenders. They react so well, they hunt in packs, and they just snuffed out the danger so quickly. Cavan trying so hard, and it looked like they might get through there, but look, 1-2 defenders in there, and the hand comes in, and no score. 1-8-3. Abby Shields with yet another angle of kicking, which is again effective. I don't think a single kick out has gone to Cavan in the first half, which is 27.5 minutes old. So it's as we expected, a bit one-sided, but Dublin not out of sight, but certainly have put a lot of scores between the teams. It's a long way back. It's 8 points in it. The problem is for Cavan just getting the scores. They've had to work so hard, restricted mainly to frees, and they haven't taken all of those. Dublin now being patient, as you can see in our wide shot there, and then they turn it over and they quickly try and win it again from the second ball, but they don't. They win it from the next ball. They must really be a nightmare to play against, and last week Kerry and them went toe-to-toe. And you can see from this game today what Dublin are like and why they will still be a big threat in this competition. Referee's going to hop this one, and you can see the difference in height there. Jennifer Dunn has always got an advantage from these kind of balls and holds her ground and takes it easily out of the sky and gives it to Heatherton, who could have taken the ball on her own from the hop. They had so many options in there. Now one of their smaller players, and it's Annabelle Timothy, who gets her score away and puts it over the bar. Nice score by the girl from St Finian's in Swords, coming up to half-time to stretch Dublin's lead.
Please note that hot food will be on sale at the left of the back stand.
Roisin O'Reilly, and it's fallen for Carla Rowe. Nice little dummy, and Dublin are in here. And it's Hannah Tyrrell, and she gives it back to Rowe, the captain. Oh, well, that should be it, even though it's nearly half-time. We haven't got to the end of the half, but that score puts Dublin well in the clear, and it's the constant pressure and press and the clinical finishing and passing that makes it so difficult for Cavan, and Dublin lead 2-9-3. The pressure just eventually tells. Cavan working so hard, but there is no room for them at all. They do get a free here, but you can see that the players individually and collectively are just wilting a little bit under the serious pressure from Dublin. Pressure has been the word of the first half. It's like they have 2 or 3 extra players out there. Every player around the field is marking so closely, and then they support each other, so it looks like there's 2 or 3 marking every Cavan player. Ali Cahill. This is Walls. Cavan able to move it around here, but then Dublin waiting to pounce, and they do. And look, 2, 3, 4, 5 Dublin jerseys. Cavan forced to go back as we are in added time at the end of the first half. 2-9 plays 3, and then the out ball It's Sheridan. She does brilliantly actually to win it at the second time of asking, but again it's Dublin, and again it's a forward. It's Hannah Terrell back there doing great work to defend and snuff that one out. They really do work hard as a unit. You have to give Dublin credit for that, and that's been a very impressive performance by them in the first half. 31 minutes of play. Cavan only managed to get the 3 points and only 1 from play. And it's Dublin who have scored 2-9, and that goal just before half-time puts daylight between them. Earlier goal was from Ailish O'Dowd, and a rake of points as well, as we watch the Dublin management at half-time discuss what they need to do, but I'd imagine it would be pretty much more of the same, whereas Cavan have an awful lot to do and maybe roll a few off the bench, but that goal right at the end of the first half will make Jerry Moan's job a lot more difficult. The sun has just gone in as the kids come out at half-time. These are all from Cavan clubs, and they're going to get a little run, so we'll show about 30 seconds or a minute of this just before we go off at half-time for a little bit of break. But all the girls enthusiastically running onto the pitch, and they were here well before the start of the game, very excited about getting out, and they give a guard of honour to Dublin as they come out. They're enjoying this occasion, and look at the size of them there, and the jerseys going down over their shorts, but they're going to love this little chance to play at half-time on the famous, beautifully manicured sod here at Breffni Park. So the kids getting their moment at half-time while the players go in for a little bit of a rest and a chat and see what they can do in the second half. And we'll just get a little bit of play here, will we? We'll see what happens here when the ball gets thrown in, and you never know, we might even get a score. Let's watch this one here and see what happens. Well, lovely catch. Wasn't sure what way she was going, but she figured it out in the end, and she's still going with the very bright green boots as well. Let's see if they can get a score here for us on the camera. Ooh, tough tackling there. That's like the Dublin defence, keeping them under wraps, and good defending indeed. Oh, hold on, she's through. Looked like it went out of play, but she might get a kick out in the end towards the goal. But blanket defence here at this level is not terrible. She might get her point. Oh, I don't know if that went over. I'll give it. And that'll do us. We'll go off for a little bit of a break, and we'll be back with the seniors in about 5 or 6 minutes with the second half. Well, welcome back here, and it looks like we've gone back about 6 months after the sunshine in the first half. We had a downpour at half-time, so all sorts of weather. And the other more important story is that the name Sinead Ahern was called out at half-time. In fact, just a few seconds ago, as being a substitute for Hannah Terrell. But Hannah Terrell is now run onto the pitch because I'm kind of confused here. Sinead Ahern, who we thought had retired, hadn't played at all for Dublin this year, but definitely her name was called out. But now Hannah Terrell is out in the field, so maybe that came as a surprise to Sinead Ahern if she's here. I didn't know she was there. She's not named in the subs, but there is a few blanks there in 29 and 30, so maybe they've added her and brought her back out of retirement. The legendary Dublin forward captained them, of course, to so many All-Irelands and won so many All-Stars. Carla Rowe bursting through, trying to just get a score, but that's going to be a free out. But it was definitely announced by the Breffni Park announcer here that Sinead Ahern was going onto the field. That completely caught me by surprise, and then I looked around, couldn't see her, and 14 players were out. You're looking for Sinead, and then Hannah Terrell ran out. So maybe Hannah had been told you're not playing, but then maybe it was, no, we do need you to run out. Sinead's not ready for some reason, but that definitely is a surprise. In fact, in this game last year between these two teams, Sinead actually scored a goal. So I wonder, will she come on and do the same today? I wonder, is she back in the Dublin colours? Long kick from Sheridan. Oh, and it's worked beautifully, actually, although Geraldine Smith has two players around her. She did get possession, but has now been forced to come back out. And that's going to be a free for Cavan. Taken nicely and quickly, and a good angled run as well. And they are in behind for the first time in the game. And it is Geraldine Sheridan gets a kick away. Oh, the home crowd liked that one right at the start of the second half. Well, were we too early in writing off Cavan in the first half with a goal right at the end? Because they've hit back with a goal right at the start of the second half. And it was good direct football that did it. And Geraldine Sheridan got the kick away nice and low. And it's 2-9 to 1-3. Are Cavan still in it? This is Jennifer Dunn for Dublin. And she's got lots of support. And look who's in there. Ailish O'Dowd tried to give it to Kate Sullivan, who came on at half-time. Cavan working hard to get it back, but it's Dublin who get it. They have a lot of strong players out there, and this is one of them. This is Dunn. Hannah Terrell is on a run looking for the ball from, is this Wild who is fouled? It is indeed, and it's going to be a free in. And Terrell walks away from it and leaves it for Carla Rowe. That's her side. So I'm intrigued now to see if Sinead Ahern appears in this half. Was that a false alarm, or was it the wrong name being called out? Maybe they were trying to tell us that Kate Sullivan is out there. Maybe that was the change. She's from the same club as Sinead Ahern from St Sylvester's. The rain coming down heavily as Carla Rowe puts it over the bar. And that ball knocked down by Sullivan. Sullivan gets it back, and Terrell is there, Rowe is there. She tries to palm it to the net, but it doesn't get there. These conditions very difficult in the second half. It's going to be a real dogfight out there. So difficult for the players. They were dealing with searing heat that I described in the first half, and now they're dealing with the deluge in the second half. Cavan an awful long way back, but at least they've got the goal. They're 10 points behind. Surely they couldn't get back, could they? But you never know if they get a goal here. These conditions very tricky, maybe for defences, and they have a few terrific forwards there as well. Number 12 is Emma Halton. 7 is Rebecca O'Reilly. And they are trying hard here, Cavan, but that's Ailish O'Dowd who's won it back. What a serious addition she has been to Dublin this year. Now Terrell with a little bit of room. She's on the right. You know she's coming in on the left, but can you stop her? That's another story. I think that's on target, you know. But no, it's gone to the left. No, it's gone short, but it's gone straight to Carla Rowe. She might profit here. Will she be happy with the point? She looks like she wants a goal. Gives it back to Dunn, and surely, oh, it's come off the post. They can't believe it. They have got a free, though. And Dublin applying serious pressure and just slicing through Cavan at will. Superb support play, and creative play, and Carla puts her hands to her head. She couldn't believe that that didn't end up in the net. And Jennifer Dunn, as I was saying earlier, got a goal at this end just a couple of years ago against Tyrone here in a championship match. That was a bullet-like shot. That one she tried to place. Now, bit of a discrepancy between the scoreboards. We have a 2:10 for Dublin. The scoreboard in the ground has a 2:11. We'll sort that out, but you know there's a lot of distance between the teams. Kick out goes beautifully to Gilson, and from a Cavan point of view, she nipped in there around 3 or 4 players and took it easily. Cahill tries to put an angled ball in there and succeeds. This is great from Cavan, and it's Emma Halton and now Sheridan, and Aisling is away here. Well, her sister got a goal. Oh, she nearly got another one, but I think it was Shields touching that over the bar. Great play by Cavan. They do get the score, and they'll take encouragement from that. Let's see if Shields actually did get a hand out. I thought she had. Will we see? Sheridan, boom. No, maybe not. Maybe it just went straight over the bar. She didn't put it as low as her sister, but it is a goal and a point from the Sheridan sisters at the start of the second half. And it's 2:11 to 1-4 we make it. So still 10 points between the teams, but it's a really entertaining end-to-end game. Number 12 is coming off. That's Emma Halton who was involved in that. And number 4 is coming off. Christina Charters. No, she's coming over to get some words from the management. Now, who has come on for Cavan? I missed that one. I'll pick it up as we go on. It looks like 26 is on for Cavan as Dublin go off in the attack again. 26 is Niamh Keenahan from Lara United is in for Cavan. Kate Sullivan in at half-time for Dublin. Got 2 brilliant goals against Meath in the Leinster final in Portlaoise. And is she a provider this time? She gets it in, indeed, to Dunn, who's getting through, but good defending. And Shauna Lynch takes possession. Cavan trying to move the ball quickly, but in steps Niamh Crowley from the Fingalians Club in Dublin to get that one. They're so sharp all over the field, and they just keep the pressure coming and coming. Now Tyrrell from distance, but fancies it, gets her kick away and gets her point as well. She really is a great shooter for the team from frees and from play, and you knew from that sort of a distance that she was well capable, and Dublin just ease ahead a little bit further. I'm told that Sinead Ahern is number 29. In fact, she's right down in front of us now. If our camera swings down, you'll see the return of the All-Ireland winning captain, number 29, Sinead Ahern, back out of retirement to help the Dublin cause coming into the championship and add a little bit of guile and skill and experience. And Kate Sullivan adding a little bit of youth, but not able to get that one on target. Well, the thunder and lightning is overhead on Breffni Park. We hear the thunder crackling as we see the return of Sinead Ahern in Dublin colours. What a surprise that is to see the captain coming out. She's going to come on in a second. She didn't think that she'd be playing in the summer in Breffni Park as thunder and lightning comes down on the field, and rain as well, but she comes into the play. So Sinead is back. Trying to see the number of the player that she is replacing. I think it's number 10, is it? Which would be Annabelle Timothy. It is. Two 12 plays 1-4 then. 11-point game, and Dublin get it again from the kick out. Dunn, who's been supreme around the middle. Heatherton to Tyrrell. Dublin really ticking. That could end up in the net. Keeper watches it well though, and no Dublin player there. So Cavan able to try and get up the field a little bit, but 11 points down. 9 minutes into the second half with it all to do. Gilson gives it back to Lynch. Ali Cahill. Blocked down. 2 Dublin players there to get that ball. They're on the look for even more scores. And it's Heatherton. She's got support from Sullivan. She goes herself, but that will be a free in surely as Carla Rowe continues. Oh, she puts it in the top corner, and the referee says, fine, I'll not bring that back. There was no stopping that one, and I will not rule it out. And why would you? Because it was a terrific finish from Carla Rowe, the captain, and that really surely seals the deal. I'll say that again. Surely that seals the deal for Dublin. 3:12 plays 1-4. If there's any doubt, there isn't now. Gilsonen goes high and goes brave. And there was an ooh from the crowd for that collision as a couple of players stay down, and Gus Chapman, of course, holds up the play. Still 20 minutes to go in this game, and that looks a little bit concerning, but the physios are out there and both players sitting up or trying to sit up, and Mick Bowen slightly concerned, I'm sure, but not with the way the game is going, as the thunder crackles again overhead. Gilsonen is okay, she's up, and the crowd give a little bit of applause for her, and it's Kate Sullivan, the other player, who looks like she's going to be getting up presently as well. Free will be taken by Ciara Brady for Cavan. She pumps it straight up the middle, route one, and that's going to fall all the way through to Geraldine Sheridan. She takes it well under pressure despite Danielle Lawless trying to get back. This is good by the sisters, the Sheridan sisters, but a tug again. And she's still trying to get through even after the whistle, and they're still trying to stop her. Dublin do fight very tigorously around there and prevent you from getting through. 1 goal so far, and it was from a quick ball over the top, but otherwise Dublin would get 3 or 4 players back on you, same as a lot of the top teams, the same as Donegal last week. This is Gilsonen now, will surely put this over, but I think I said that once or twice in the first half. Dublin will be bringing in Jodie Egan presently as Gilsonen puts it over and makes it 1-5 for Cavan. Jodie Egan, I think, usually plays in defence, sort of cornerback. We'll see where she comes in. She's actually gone away from the sideline again, so maybe she's not coming on just yet. Maybe they've changed their mind. It's Dublin on the attack, and this is Niamh Crowley. Gives it to Carla Rowe. Carla switches under her left. It's such a good two-footed player, as is this girl. Sinead Ahern puts it into Hannah Tyrrell very quickly. No messing about. No solos, no bounces. Just gets on with the game. But it's a turnover for Cavan. The Breffni girls in white today, with Gilsonen working so hard just to get out of her own 45, but 2-3 challenges come in and a little nudge, and the referee says, I saw that, that's a foul, Eilish, and it's a free for Cavan, who are going to bring on a sub themselves, and it's going to be Cora McCaffrey from Temple Port, same club as Sinead Green, who has played for many years for Cavan, but I don't see her around this year, the school teacher who captained them as well. This is Aisling Sheridan, trying so hard to get away, but she's been so closely followed by Faye O'Connell-Bell. This is Gilsonen on the run, and she goes through, tries to get her kick away, and doesn't. And the referee is running past her, actually. I wonder what he's deciding here. He's running towards the ball. Not quite sure why. Yeah, he's giving her free from where the ball lands, I guess. Is that the rule? Apologies, I'm not a referee. I don't know exactly, but that looks to be the case. There's maybe a little tug or a little tap there, I think, from Niamh Donlan on her as she tried to get away. And Gilsonen taking her time to come over and take this free. Substitutions will now be made.
Substitute on the Dublin team, number 17, Jodie Egan, replacing number...
And it's Kate Sullivan coming off for Dublin, actually, so she got a knock a minute ago there, and they're not taking any risks at all. And she came on at half time and she's played 14 minutes and she's having now to come off.
Number 15, Kate Sullivan, and number 20, Karen McCaffrey, replacing.
And now number 4, Christina Charters for Cavan, has been replaced. She ran over to this side a little while ago. I thought she was coming off, she didn't, but she's off the field now. And after all that, Gilsonen obliges for Cavan. 1-6 now, but 12 points behind Cavan. Jerry Moan down below us here applauds and calls for a little bit more effort. Easier said than done, but Cavan tried to apply the press, but Jennifer Dunn easily beats it and feels with not much pressure on her. Gives it to O'Dowd. You have to admire the level of physicality and athleticism matched with the skill. Danielle Lawless now takes it from her clubmate Sinead Ahern, and it's a chance for Dublin to get another score. That's very low though. Keeper watches it all the way. Pressure again on Dublin, or on Cavan, trying to come out. They can't come out. Dublin have robbed them. They've got it back. And O'Dowd, will she add to her goal from the first half? No, it's gone wide. 3-12 plays 1-6 in the last quarter now. Roisin O'Reilly from the Guyna club looks where to go with this one. 2 number 9s head off to the left hand side, and Cahill isn't quite able to get it, and instead it's done again. Surely she's in the running for player of the match. Fabulous performance right from the throw in. And this is the sub, Egan, who came in, and there's me saying she'll be playing a cornerback. She's up in the forwards and she scores a point for Dublin to make it 3-13 to 1-6. Beautifully taken. O'Reilly, famous Cavan name of course, pumps it out into the middle of the field and it's broken, but illegally. Niamh Crowley went for it there, but the referee said that's going to be a free for Cavan, and he's listening to some words from the sideline. I'm not quite sure what that is about, but it's a free for Cavan. Dublin get it back. McGee, O'Dowd always available, looking for it, gets it, gives it. McGee again, well blocked by Aisling Sheridan, but Dublin just keep coming at you. Sinead Wild, wow, what a ball that is to Sinead Ahern. And it's Jodie Egan again. I thought she was going to get 2 in a minute. Well, it looks like Dublin will be joining Kerry at the top of the table, and then it will be Kerry against Cavan next week. This is Cahill trying to come out. Gets her free in the end. A few more subs looking to come in. Don't know if they'll be made just now or in a minute. The referee looks to be holding the play up. He is indeed. 21 is going to come on for Cavan, and that is Eliana Madden from Guyna. And for Dublin, it's going to be their number 19, Chloe Darby from Parnells. And here she comes. She's coming over the white line into the play. No. Is she allowed to come on just now? I think she is. She is. And it's Hannah Tyrrell who's coming off.
Chloe Darby replacing number.
Cavan sub doesn't look to be coming on just yet.
Hannah Tyrrell.
So we go on with the play. Lawless, always close, and wins it back as well. Danielle Lawless from the St Sylvester's club. Captained them to All-Ireland glory a couple of years ago. Named at number 11, and she's playing all around that middle area of the field, doing a lot of important work as she did for her club. And now it's Ailish O'Dowd who's joined the panel as well, but from Leitrim, not from North Dublin. And now it's Rowe, and she gets a great kick in that. Is it just inside the post? No, it's just outside the post. Actually, I thought it was Rowe. Was it Rowe? I think it was Rowe. Maybe it was Lawless, actually. I'm not quite sure. Now that I look again, or was it Egan, actually? They all look a little bit similar in their playing styles and from distance. But anyway, it wasn't a score, and now 21 is coming on for Cavan. Madden. Caoimhe Madden started the game, both from the Guyna club. I presume they're related. Might be wrong about that. 25 looking to come on as well for Cavan, and that is Muireann Cusick from Crusherlock. She'll be on in a minute or two. It's got to that stage where both teams are running on subs. The decision in this game is pretty much a formality. They'll both now be looking ahead. Dublin to the quarterfinals, they hope, and Cavan to try and pull off a shock against Kerry next week. Jodie Egan in the right place. Fresh legs telling for Dublin. We're nearly into the last 10 minutes, and O'Dowd still looks like she has fresh legs. What an addition she has been for Dublin. She gets support from Rowe, and Rowe is penalised, and she says, what else was there to do there? Sub now will come on for Cavan, and it is Cusick. Not sure who she's coming in for, because there's a player down and they might change their mind about who she comes on for. Player down looks like Ali Cahill from Killygarry, the number 9. She's had a tough afternoon, and indeed the sub looks like she is running over towards that sort of area of the field. Actually, it's number 19 who's down, not number 9. And 19 is Madden. She looks to be in difficulty, and indeed she's going off. So if they are sisters, the Madden sisters, they've only been on the same field at the same time for about a minute.
Number 25, Lauren Cusick, replacing number 19, Queen Mahal.
So 3:13 plays 1-6, 21 minutes gone in the second half. Dublin just so dominant, but Cavan keeping going. This is good determined play from Geraldine Smith, unable to break the line but gets her free. Shauna Lynch drills it forward, and it's bounced all the way through, and there's a chance here for a score, and it's the Dublin defence scrambling back but unable to prevent that ball from going over the bar. From Niamh Keenahan from Lara, there was a chance of a goal there surely for a minute, but didn't go over, didn't go into the net, went over the bar instead. It's 1-7 to 3:13. Abby Shields retrieves the ball. She was faultless in the first half with her kickouts, and I don't think she's had any wrong in the second half either, but hasn't had many. Cavan also warming up Anya Smith to come in, and indeed Shields' kick out is laser accurate once again. Carla Rowe out in front, support from Lawless. Challenge comes in illegally so from Sheridan. This is Heatherton. Breaks down for Dublin. Again, Cavan going for the long ball. McGee is back there trying to cover and comes over with a strong challenge, and referee says that's a foul, but he says play on. Cavan get advantage, take advantage, look for Gilsonen. She comes out to meet it. This is good play from Cavan. Number 10 is Aisling Walls, but there's McGee again. She is such a strong player in there, such a tough tackler, and she eventually does break down the Cavan attack and is now attacking herself. She wants to kick, and she gives a great ball to Heatherton. She's under pressure from Faye, but keeps going. Sinead Ahern now just gives and goes, and Heatherton is there. Will she drill? No, she's lashed one to the net, low to the net. And that's yet another goal. It's a 4th goal for Dublin, with a little bit of help from the All-Ireland winning captain Sinead Ahern, the substitute who has surprisingly come into the play today and just helped add the seal to the victory. Ahern is back. 54 minutes gone, 6 to go. And if there was any doubt, there isn't now. Another change, and it's Geraldine Smith of Cavan who's come off. Dublin rearranging a little bit off camera as I'm just watching their tactical switches. Now, can Cavan get a score at the other end? Didn't actually see who came on for them there, but I'll try and get that for you in a second. Is it this girl, actually, number 25? I don't. Oh no, she's already been on. That's Muireann Cusack. Or Cusack. Aisling Sheridan under pressure from Lauren McGee. Does a lovely little dummy solo to lose McGee, but there's 2 or 3 more dubs lining up to tackle her. 20 is McCaffrey. 7 is O'Reilly, Rebecca O'Reilly, and the referee, what way is that one going? Coming together, he says. Maybe it's a hop, is it? It's like an informal water break now. .55 minutes gone then. 4:13, that's 25, plays 1-7, that's 10. 15 points in it. Pretty similar to last year's game between these two teams, although a lot of the personnel has changed from then. Similar distance between the teams on the scoreboard. Tough challenge goes in again, and the Cavan player is down. I think it's Sheridan. It is indeed. She gets up though and she's okay. Kick comes in. That's going to drop a little bit short. Thought it was going to drop into the net there, but it's a point, I think, for McCaffrey. And Jerry Moan, the manager of Cavan down below, is not too enamoured by the challenges that went in before that. 1-8 for his team. They've really been outclassed and outfought here today by this machine that is Dublin. Shields. It all starts from the back, and the back has been very impressive. Well, I thought that was going to go to Cavan and ruin her 100% record, but Dublin managed to get it back because O'Dowd came in strongly. Cavan come in strongly this time, and it's a free for Sinead Wild. Loads of options for her. Crossfield. McGee is waiting. Dunn is ready to speed up alongside her, but McGee goes on herself and then pumps the ball direct in there, looking for a break, and the break has come for Sinead Ahern, and she's fouled, and surely it's a penalty, and it is a penalty. Well, is the comeback going to be complete by Sinead Ahern, and is she going to finish up this game? Well, actually no. Carla Rowe said I'll take it, and I know why she's taking it. She took the penalty last week. Sinead Ahern is a penalty expert, of course, but Carla is the girl in possession, and last week she took a penalty against Kerry and it was saved by Butler, of course, but Carla, I think, is saying, I'm taking this, I'm going to make amends, and that's the best way for a penalty taker. So Gus Chapman says, away you go. So will the captain seal this performance and show that she can still take penalties? Oh no, she's put it wide to the left, and she looks to the heavens and says, oh no, I've missed 2 in a row. Well, maybe Sinead Ahern will get it the next day. 4:13 plays 1-8. So it's 2 games in a row that Carla has missed penalties. But look, she's got the head up. Never mind. She still put in a brilliant performance as usual and swings onto her left. Will she get a goal now? Well, it's deflected out by the goalkeeper. She's still trying to get a goal. And of course, she's contributed superbly, as always, to the Dublin cause. Number 10 is Aisling Walls. Back to her goalkeeper. We're in the last few minutes, and big support here actually in the stand in Breffni Park, and they're still calling for more effort. And there's another good direct ball if she can get that, but no, it falls nicely into the arms of, is that the number 6 actually? Yeah, it's Aoife Kane. Sorry I didn't mention her earlier, but she came in at some point. She was named to start but didn't, but has certainly been playing in the second half. Dunn now gives it to Lawless. Loads of room here over on the far side for Chloe Darby. Rowe Still trying to get a score, and gets her score and stays there. That makes up a little bit for the penalty miss. She actually took it quite nicely in terms of style, sent the keeper the wrong way, went for the bottom corner, but just put it too far to the left. Kick out goes to Niamh Heatherton. Sinead Ahern now bearing down on goal, but might just take her point. Oh, it just goes to the left and wide. Counting down to added time, which begins now. 4:14 to 1-8. Just a few minutes left. No sign of any more subs. Sun's coming out again. And again, the kick out goes straight to Dublin. Goes to Niamh Crowley. And Crowley, the cornerback, sees Carla Rowe in space. And Carla, well, she missed a penalty again. Second game in a row a few minutes ago. But she applies to finish there and makes up for that. And as usual, it's been a sparkling performance by the captain, and she is leading from the front as always, and that's the way to respond from a penalty miss. She makes it 5:14 to 1-8, and with the return of Sinead Ahern, the former captain, now the present captain, applies the finish and ensures that Dublin will win this game. Break in the middle of the field. Aisling Sheridan looks to kick, and McGee looks to dive in bravely again. Ball breaks for Cavan and for her sister Geraldine. Sheridan comes back inside as the sun gets even stronger now. What a day we've had. We've had about at least 3 seasons here today. It's a good effort from Aisling Sheridan. No, it's not. It's gone to the left. I thought it was going over the bar. .62 minute. You sort of knew early on that Cavan had to take their chances to stay in the game, and they just didn't. They took a few frees, then missed a few, and you just thought the game would go away from them, and indeed that's what happened. First goal went in, and another one just before half time, and the second half we've seen 3 more from Dublin and a penalty miss. Dominant Dublin. Ahern takes it beautifully, immediately looks up to see where she's going with it, and immediately looks for Tyrrell, as she does most of the time. In fact, it's not, it's Heatherton. Gives it into O'Dowd. Now Ahern, and well done to the goalkeeper there, Roisin O'Reilly, to prevent that, but really it's training stuff now for Dublin. The slick machine just trying to add on more scores, and they have certainly recovered from last week's defeat. They've put that to one side. They've got the points on the board. 63rd minute, it's a 45 for Dublin. Bright sunshine in Breffni once again. The way we started the game. In between we had thunder. Strange afternoon. .63rd minute, and we continue to play. And it's Heatherton, and she will get her free. And again, the strength and height and physicality of Dublin reaping rewards for them. And Carla Rowe should just apply this finish and make it a 22-point game. Not much for the home crowd to cheer about. Big home crowd. Their team did manage 1-8. But not many teams will fancy coming up against Dublin. They've brought in such youth this year, but they've also brought back some of the golden oldies. Victory as expected for Dublin, but we didn't expect Sinead Ahern to make a return. But the former captain has come out of retirement and helped put the seal on the win. And there is the current captain, Carla Rowe, who contributed, as usual, all over the field with scores and with great link-up play. And it's been a very, very impressive, slick performance by the Dubs, winning by 5-15 to 1-8, and they have some points on the board after losing to Kerry. That's their 2 group games finished. Kerry now have to play Cavan next week. Kerry have points on the board, Cavan have no points on the board, so it's all down to the last game. Kerry will be favourites for that, but you never know. That game is next Saturday. Cavan still without a win since February. They lost 2 games in the Ulster Championship, and they have lost here today. They have to win next week down in Kerry. They hadn't had a game since the 30th of May, a long enough layoff for them, and they looked a little bit rusty today. They got a couple of scores early on, but then missed a few what looked like pretty straightforward frees, and then it sort of fell apart, and Dublin's pressure and strength and athleticism started to pay, and the manager in there, Jerry Moan, has to regroup his team for the next game. Long trip to Kerry, tough trip to Kerry to try and get something out of that game, or else they will go into a relegation battle. Tough one for them, but the Dubs will march on. They have won this TG4 Senior Football Championship game with a lot to spare. They pulled away, as I say, with a very impressive performance, a goal just before half time, and then in the second half they rolled on subs, and they were all equally as good as the players who had started the game. So they have a huge squad out there. They've got back on track. They won the Leinster Championship impressively, and they have won here today impressively as well. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage from Breffni Park as Dublin celebrate in the sun another victory for them, and they will surely march on, and you wouldn't rule them out for the All-Ireland by any means at all. They have got back on track, and as Mick said last week, they might meet Kerry down the line. It'll be very interesting to see if anyone can stop them. Kerry stopped them last week, but it could have gone either way. The one little quirky thing between the 2 games is that Carla Rowe missed a penalty in both games, but she more than redeemed herself with a super performance, and her team has won. She is the captain, and the goalkeeper just coming out of the group there as well. Abby Shields was fantastic today. She'd be a contender for player of the match. Excellent passing from the kickouts, and although she conceded the 1 goal, she had a terrific performance. Just 20 years old, and if you look around the rest of the field, if I pick out quickly a player of the match, I think maybe Jennifer Dunn over the whole play was fantastic. Carla Rowe as well. And who else? Well, Lauren McGee worked so hard. Ailish O'Dowd would be hard to look past as well. She was fantastic. But everybody did their job. Faye O'Connell Bell, Niamh Donlan. You look around the field, they all know exactly what they're doing. They do their jobs. It doesn't matter who get player of the match as long as they win the game. And they certainly did that. Dublin the winners then. And from Breffni Park, from the team, it's goodbye.
A lot can happen in just 1 second. Winning goal, winning save, perfect tackle, clever flick, good call from the ref, great shout from the line. The county title, after 30 years, a long wait over, in just 1 second. It's a game of seconds. Glorious seconds. Genius in split seconds. By great players. Just 1 second. The difference between a good decision and a bad one. A lost temper, frustrated shout. That gut reaction. We've all done it. And we're never proud. But we can do better. We all can. Sideline, dressing room, meeting room, all places of passion where split-second decisions are made. Good ones, bad ones, some days not so calm ones. It's instinct, we know, because we love it. We just don't think. But we have to. Of others, of our players, of our game. Think before we act.
Take a second, catch your breath. Collect yourself, don't regret. Take a second to make the right call for ladies Gaelic football.